Hello and welcome to the Brutal Iron Gym podcast, where our goal is to cut through the BS and deliver the brutal truth about topics related to health and happiness. So today's topic is a ridiculously corny topic, but I promise it actually works. So we're going to be talking about mindset, and we're going to be discussing morning mantras. So I actually have been talking about this with a couple of my clients, and then I had a listener, send in a question about this. And what it is basically just kind of having a phrase that you start the day with. And the idea of it is, we discussed in one of the recent podcasts, there's a concept in regards to mindset, and there's a quote that says, "You find what you look for," meaning that if I start the day with a negative mindset, I find everything that's wrong with life. And all the negatives just kind of reinforce my negative mindset, and I end the day with a negative mindset. It usually takes something extraordinary out of the normal to kind of like pull us into a good mood, which does not happen every day. Hence why it's out of the ordinary. So it is possible to start the day in a bad mood and end in a good mood, but it's rare. So if you start the day in a good mood, you're more likely to end the day in a good mood. There are things that can come up and ruin the day, though. But it's better to start positive, and that gives you the best chance to stay positive, rather than starting negative and relying on the outside world to kind of push you back into positivity. Probably not going to happen. So, the idea of morning mantras is that if we want things to change in regards to different areas of our life, we have to start the change. We have to create the change. We have to, quote unquote, be the change. So, things don't change for the good on their own. Otherwise, we'd all be living great lives as we just got older and older and things kind of settled for themselves. As anybody in their 40s, 50s, and 60s and older knows, that don't happen. So we have to look for the change that we want. We have to participate in that. We have to do actions for it. So you have to earn a different life if you want a different life in the positive manner. So morning mantras help with that. It is very corny. If you are of the opinion that this is super corny, but somehow you actually still listen to this podcast, I would say give it 2 weeks, give it 14 days. Do the morning mantras every single day for 14 days, and you'll find it actually helps you out. And I do this myself. Some days I have actual mantras where I'll actually go through and say a phrase that I'm working on. And then other days I have things like I just start with mentions of gratitude, like I'm thankful for the opportunities I have coming up that day. I'm thankful for the life that I have. And like you just start your day with positivity. So I do also do like spiritual, like Bible verse type stuff. But if you're not religious, this stuff still absolutely does work. So, but sometimes that just helps. The reason why I like it is it might give me, if I'm lacking creativity, it might give me a direction for the day that I can kind of build on top of that. And I'm sure if you were to Google search or go on like Amazon and look for books or, like morning mantra calendars or stuff like that, there probably exist. And there's probably a bunch of them out there that are non-religious based and obviously ones that are religious based. But the idea of a morning mantra or starting your day with a positive phrase or something that just kind of structures your day before it starts. It's a well-known fact it works. People who do this stuff, say it works. It's a common thing you'll hear when people are trying to bring themselves out of depression. It can help kind of build some positivity and happiness back into your life. It can build a sense of control if you're having anxiety and issues and stuff like that. So there's a lot of real world evidence that this stuff works. And the reason why I wanted to do the podcast was if you have not done it before in your life, I wanted to give you a little bit of like structure on how to do it, a little bit of ideas, and then just kind of push you to do it. So if you do already do morning mantras, awesome. And then maybe you can get some ideas how to improve it or add to it, or, just maybe something in this podcast is helpful for you. So with the quote in mind, you find what you look for. That's what we're going to kind of be thinking of as we think of our morning mantras. So one thing you kind of look at is like, how do you find your mantra? Like, how do you find the one that you want to actually do? So there's 5 areas of overall health that we focus on here in the podcast, like I've mentioned before, is physical, mental, emotional, relational, and spiritual. Now, sometimes people add in like financial health, add in other categories. So you can definitely kind of, think of different ones on your own. I wanted to kind of go through the main five. And then if you have a different one, you can think of that on your own. So, like financial, for example, there's tons of books now where people will say like, if you think rich thoughts, richness will come to you. That sounds really dorky, and it is more complex than that. I can't just wake up and say I'm going to be rich today, and then all of a sudden it happens. But it'd be more so like if you're thinking of financial, it could be looking at like, okay, today I'm going to look for opportunities that have you can even think of it as like looking for opportunities that have a chance to make me money, or I can look at opportunities that have a chance to kind of broaden my network. So the more people you know in different fields and different abilities, it can expand your potential for earnings in regards to just knowing more people and things. So networking is a great way to increase financial opportunities, and then also just you can meet people who can help you better organize the money you already have. So I've taken like a financial peace university class by Dave Ramsey through the church that I go to, and it was helpful for just understanding different ways to organize money, different viewpoints, maybe different thought process orders or thought orders in regards to money. I laugh because when I took that class, I had absolutely no money, so it was funny learning how to budget zero. So how do you divide zero into 10% of this and 15% of that? And so it was kind of funny. Looking back at it, it was helpful, but at the time I remember being frustrated in the sense that I couldn't really use any of the advice. Now, there were things I could use. I was kind of just being a negative Nancy at that time. But there are opportunities out there for structures and things like that. I know, like I've read, there's a book by Gary Vaynerchuk that I read. I think he has two of them now. And I also read a book, something about like Boss Babe, which was written by a female. And it was about like money mindsets. And that kind of stuff does help. And the more networking you do, the better opportunities you have available, more creativity you can be within. If you own a business, there's more creativity you can do. Like, for example, owning this gym, I have to recognize people can only pay me in the ways that I offer to be paid. That sounds really weird. But, like let's say for this gym, I only accept memberships at 1 year. So, for example, we don't have any contracts at this gym because I was never going to try to sue anybody to hold them to a contract anyhow. So, anytime they wanted to leave, they were just going to leave anyhow. So, there's no point even doing contracts. But if I had, say, only 1 year contracts, and somebody, say a college kid, said, hey, I'm going to be in there for the school year. I really only need it for 9 months. So if I said, no, you have to sign up for a year, they decide to go somewhere else, that was me limiting my own money because I only gave them one option to pay me. So I've had to find different ways in which to have people pay me, which I know that sounds really weird, but it was a big thing in business. And that helped open my eyes in many ways to different avenues in which I could earn financial income for the gym to help this gym survive. So I've had the gym now for 8 years, coming up on 9, and that's the only way it was working, was finding more ways in which to connect with people. So the idea was to help people in the way that helped them the most. And eventually that led to some money. But it was not trying to really the best thing for me was just to respond to what people needed. If somebody said they needed X and I didn't have X available, I found out how to make X available. So I just kind of led where people needed help, and that worked. So I just said how I wasn't going to talk about financial, and then I just talked about financial for like 5 minutes. But that would be the idea of opening your mindset to that. So, for example, the morning mantra I might have at that time would be is listen to the people's needs. So what do people need today? And I might wake up in that morning, I have a conversation with a gym member, and all of a sudden I find out, maybe there's I'm just trying to say examples. So maybe at the gym, we had an open gym, they could pay for a membership, but somebody said that they were really struggling with knowing what to do for training. So then I'd say okay, well, there's a need. They need a training program, but maybe they can't afford, a high cost one. So is there a low cost way to get training help for people. So that's a need that if I was listening and open my ears to, I can find a way to meet that need. Rather than saying like, oh, I don't know why in the world they need training programs. People should know how to train, and then all of a sudden it doesn't help you. So, but there are opportunities out there, and you can hear some of the books and stuff. There's tons of books out there for finances. So let's look through the 5 that I said I was going to look through. So the first one being physical, and I want to just give some examples as we go through this. My hope is that through the example you can see that you can formulate your own, and then we'll kind of like go from there. So let's say somebody in the physical health, they wanted to work on posture. And I actually have somebody, actually more than one person working on posture right now. And basically the concept that we had was a lot of posture just comes to awareness. So like a lot of times people think they need strengthening exercises here and there. You just need to hold yourself in better positions throughout the day. So I don't need to be able to deadlift 700 pounds to be able to stand up straight. So it's not like you need a stronger back. You just need more awareness of your positioning. And then that might make some muscles sore in here and there that have kind of been lazy. But you don't need a ton of exercises. You just need more awareness. So I was talking with somebody recently, and we were talking about if you think of like the crown of your head. So like for guys, the bald spot. So, but if you think of the crown of your head, you want to walk around throughout the day like you're trying to scrape the crown of your head on the ceiling. Okay, so if you're in your office space, an office building, when you're walking to lunch or walking to the water fountain or walking to the bathroom, try to walk as if you're scraping the crown of your head on the ceiling. And the people in the YouTube videos are probably going to be laughing at me because we film these podcasts throw on YouTube. So as soon as I started talking about that, all of a sudden I like straightened up. So, but think of that right now, wherever you're at, think of trying to touch the crown of your head to the ceiling. Chances are you'll actually feel yourself get taller. Well, guess what? That you probably should have been sitting like that already or standing like that already. So that's an awareness thing that you can use. So you can think of standing with the crown of your head, trying to touch the ceiling. So a morning mantra I might say to myself is, I'm going to stand tall and proud today. I am freaking awesome and I can achieve anything I want. Now, when you say that mantra to yourself, it's impossible to slouch. So when you say, I am freaking awesome and I can accomplish anything I want, you're going to say that in a very proud position, a very uprighted position. So there's a book I read called The 12 Rules to Live by Jordan Peterson. Awesome freaking book. And one of the rules he says is to stand tall and be confident, because it changes a lot about even your internal chemicals. So your hormones that you produce, it changes the way in which people respond to you, which can change your reactions and conversations throughout the day. So interactions. There is a lot of positivity to standing tall and standing proud. You don't have to be a jerk. You don't have to act like, an egotistical maniac or anything like that. You just have to stand tall and be proud of yourself. So stand as if you believe that you are awesome and that you can accomplish anything. And that's going to give you that better posture throughout the day. Okay? So that's one example. So we have like mental health. So maybe you want to improve your discipline, like your ability to adhere to like maybe a training plan or nutrition plan. Or maybe you're trying to just do better with character, daily character. So maybe there's something like if you want to get better at, cleaning your car or, taking care of the house or just any other kind of thing that you want to become more disciplined with. So an example of some type of mantra you can say in the mornings is, I can be as disciplined as I want to be. I am making the choice to make this my new normal. And whatever this is, whatever you're trying to work on. So if you say, like, I'm trying to make the bed every morning, she would say, I can be as disciplined as I want to be. I am making the choice to make this my new normal. So you're going to do that thing that day because you are making the choice to make it a normal thing. This is your new normal. You can achieve and be disciplined as you would like to be. There is no one else. There's no other factor that gets in the way of your discipline except for your choice to be disciplined. So you are making the choice to make this new disciplined behavior your new normal. So when you say that to yourself, I can be as disciplined as I want to be. I am making the choice to make this my new normal. How could you not do it after that, right? I mean, if you're repeating that to yourself every morning, you repeat it intermittently throughout the day, and we're going to talk about that here in a second, about how to kind of remind ourselves of our morning mantras, so they're not only said once in the morning and then forgotten for the rest of the day. So if you say that to yourself throughout the day, how could you not be disciplined? How could you not do the thing? It puts you in the right frame of mind. It puts you in the right kind of like, I don't even know what to say, except for like, you just have the sensation, the compelling like feeling to do the thing. So I can be as disciplined as I want to be. I am making the choice to make this my new normal. So that would be a good mantra you can use. If you think of emotional health, okay, maybe you're having problems with like anger. So maybe you're just pissed off at the world and everybody around you is a jackass. And everybody just gets in your way and screws up your whole day. So that might have sounded a little bit too familiar for me. But that's something we can always work on. Okay. So a morning mantra I could say to myself would be, I will forgive others for their flaws as others have forgiven me for mine. Now, it doesn't matter if the person who I'm forgiving, they specifically have forgiven me. That's not the point. The point is that someone in your life forgives you for the mistakes that you make, and they still love you anyhow. Whether that's a spouse, a parent, a child, best friend, we all have somebody who kind of loves us and supports us. And they do so regardless of the fact that we have flaws. So maybe every once in a while you get like worn out, you're tired, and you snap at them, and you didn't really mean to. And you feel like shit, you tell them you're sorry, and they accept your apology. So you have been forgiven for your flaws by someone. So do your best to forgive others for theirs. No one's perfect, not even you, not even me. So we all make mistakes. So one of the best ways you can do to control your anger is to recognize that when someone else makes a mistake, so do you. You wouldn't want somebody getting mad at you and yelling at you for your mistakes because, damn, you probably didn't try to make them. It's probably something you're maybe even working on or maybe you weren't even aware of. And even if you did purposely make the mistake, is somebody calling you a jackass and yelling at you really going to motivate you to make a change? No, you're probably going to be angry and you're just going to, screw you, whatever. You're not going to want to change. You're not going to want to make yourself better. You're going to be more angry at that person for being angry at you. So, since other people have forgiven you for your flaws, you need to forgive others for theirs. And that's going to help you live in a more compassionate, more understanding mental framework for the day, rather than being in an angry framework. So if you're in traffic and somebody accidentally cuts you off, guess what? You've done that to somebody too. You're probably texting, or talking to a friend. You changed lanes and said, oh shit, I didn't even see that person behind me. So you've done it yourself. So we've all been sitting at a red light, texting, all of a sudden we look up and everything was green, and now there's nobody in front of us, and we're the jackass who's holding everybody else back because we're not paying attention. So we've all made that mistake. So when it happens to us, and then we're like that final car that gets caught right before the lead, like we get caught at the red light, and if that jackass in front of us would have actually went on time, we would have made the freaking light, and now I wouldn't be 2 minutes further behind, late for blah, 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 blah. So instead of letting that anger kind of get at you, recognize like, yeah, this sucks. Really didn't want to be stuck at this light again, but I don't know. I've done that myself. Dang it anyhow. So you just kind of let it roll off. Let it brush off you, okay? So that would be an example of a morning mantra for anger control is, I will forgive others for their flaws as I've been forgiven by others for mine. So that's a nice way to say it. It just kind of like reminds you to just chill out, man. It's okay. You make mistakes too. So then we think of relational. So maybe you have like kind of like a relationship that isn't quite where you want it. Like you love this person and you wish you could convey it better, but there's been some shit in the past that's happened and things have just kind of gotten in the way and now it's like layered and messy. And you'd love to just get back to loving the person and you guys being equal and back to being good. Or maybe you've never been good, but you just want to be there. And there's just this mess in the way. Okay? So a mantra you can use is, the past is the past. I will do today what will build the best future. So if you haven't called them in months because the last time you guys called you got an argument, not calling them today isn't going to help that. The past is the past. Make the phone call. Send a text. Even if it's just, hey, I was thinking about you. That's it. That's all you have to say. Something like that. If it's a coworker, maybe somebody you see in person, just walk up to them and say, hey, I've made some mistakes in the past, and I'm sorry. I'd love to have us get back on a good relationship. And yeah, they might not respond great, but they're gonna hear the words. Okay, so they might apologize for their mistakes. Probably not gonna happen. Wouldn't it be nice if it did? But they're probably be like, oh, okay, blah, 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 blah. Or like, yeah, it's not that easy. You can't just forgive shit away. But hey, at least you took the first step. So the next time you see him, you try to say, hey, the past is the past. If today was a brand new day, how would I interact with them? I would say hello. I would ask them how their day was. I'd be happy. I would be nice. So treat every day like it's a brand new day. The past is the past. What would you do today if today was the first day? That's what you want to do. Okay? That's going to be the fastest way to rebuild a relationship. It will not go smooth. It will not go easy. They might be, jerks and jackasses and say something mean back. But if you keep coming back at them with love every day, they'll eventually drop their guard, and and girls or whatever, you can rebuild a healthy relationship again. So the mantra for rebuilding a relationship: the past is the past. I will do today what will build the best future. Cool. Last one we got is spiritual health. So it doesn't have to be religious based. It can just be your connection with the universe, whatever your religion or your religious, spiritual-ish type beliefs are. And one of the mantras I've seen that I actually kind of like, it's a little bit wordy, so you can kind of shorten this, is everything's not about me, it's about we. I will look for the interconnections of everyone's life today, and I will do my best to give my best into others' lives, so the world around me will be a better place. So that's pretty cool. So you can sum that up as everything's not about me, it's about we. And then you're just trying to give your best to the people who are around you. So if you give your best interactions, it'll promote them to give their best. And if everybody's giving their best, man, everything's going to get better. So that's just all around the world, all over the planet kind of thing. Now, we might not be able to control what happens on the other side of the planet, but we can control the world around us. The people we interact with every day is our world. So if I can improve my interactions with everybody I meet, then I've improved my world. So you don't have to change the planet, you just got to change the people you meet. Okay? And you can do that by one positive moment, one positive comment, one smile at a time. So everything's not about me, it's about we. I will look for the interconnections of everyone's life, and I will do my best to give my best into others' lives. And through those actions, the world around me will be a better place. So that's pretty cool. So that sets you for a mindset that day of, how can I bring positivity into someone's life? So if I go into the, gas station and I got to get a drink or a snack or something, or I got to talk to the cashier, can I smile rather than just throwing the money at them? Can I even ask them how their day's going? So you might walk in and say, hey, like just walk in and put the thing on the counter and say, hey, how's your day going? And they might respond with, shit. Like awful. I've been here all day, everybody's a jerk. But it gave them a chance to vent, gave them a chance to release a little bit. And maybe with that, they're going to be nice to the next person rather than harboring more emotions throughout the day. So I used to do an experiment where I actually tried to smile and ask every cashier I would meet how their day was going. Overwhelmingly, people respond with negativity, by the way, which is really annoying. So, but that's just life. People are stressed. People are overworked. Everybody's struggling. So, just kind of giving a compassionate ear to somebody can make a difference for their life. So maybe that cashier gets to vent a little bit to you, but then when they go home, they'll be a little more positive with their loved ones and family because they got to get rid of some of that crap in the daytime. They don't have to carry that crap home. So, but that's something we can do to make the world around us a little bit of a better place. So, that's what we want to think of is what is the area of our life or an area of our life that we would like to make a change in? And then what is an action or something I could focus on that might help me change that? So, for example, if it's a physical thing and I want to fix my posture, I can tell myself, to stand tall and proud. I'm freaking awesome and I can achieve anything I want to achieve. I am freaking amazing. I am an awesome human being. You can't not stand tall when you say stuff like that. It's like we said, for mental, maybe you want to improve discipline and adherence. So we said the mantra could be as I can be as disciplined as I want to be. I am making the choice to make this my new normal. And that motivates you to do it. We had emotional, the anger issues, and like we said, the mantra could be I will forgive others for their flaws as I've been forgiven by others for mine. Relationship, the past is the past. I will do today what will build the best future. And then we said spiritual, everything's not about me, it's about we. So what can I do to give my best into other people's lives? And in turn, that would make the best world around me. So to make the world around me a better place. Cool. So what we want to do is once we have a mantra, once we have an idea of what we want to work on, and you can just start like the first day just kind of with a general concept. So sometimes people do journaling just to kind of get their thoughts on paper. And then maybe it helps you make a more concise statement or sentence that kind of sums up what you want to focus on. So it might take some days to kind of create a unified theme out of your thoughts. But the first couple of days, just wake up and think about what you want to work on that day. What's something I can do in my mindset or my physical actions that'll make today a better day? So one of the best things you can do is you can pair that mantra or that thought process with something you already do. So you want to pair a new habit, okay, the morning mantra thoughts, with an existing habit. So maybe every morning while you're brushing your teeth, you can think of your mantra. Maybe you can put like your mantra or a key phrase or key word of your mantra on your home screen on your phone or on your computer. So I've done that all the time. I actually set the name of my alarm to things I want them to be. So when I wake up in the morning and I have to swipe my alarm away, I can see the phrase or the word right away. So literally, as soon as I open my eyes, I'm right on my mantra for the day. You can also pair it with every time you wash your hands and you look in the mirror, you can say your mantra. So every time you go to the bathroom every day, you'd wash your hands, you'd look in the mirror, and you'd say your mantra. And then you can say it every night. You can kind of reflect on how well you did, what some things that maybe didn't go well that day that you can fix the next day. So the morning mantra isn't just in the morning. You kind of do it throughout the day. But the key is you start in the morning. Because what you start at will kind of determine where you finish. So like we said, the phrase at the beginning is you find what you look for. So if I start the day with a positive mindset, I will find positive things, positive opportunities. All the negativity will fall off me a little bit faster than if I were to approach the day with a negative mindset. So what you're doing is you're giving yourself a direction for the day, mentally. And then you're setting yourself up to be successful towards that mindset. So that's the goal. Okay? So, if you need any help creating mantras, our email is brutalironjim@gmail.com. Shoot us an email about what you're struggling with and we'll help you. Okay? So the idea of this podcast is if you're investing the last 27 minutes and 30 seconds into listening to this podcast, I want to make sure that you get something for it, that this makes a difference in your life. So please, please, please try this. Don't just think it's a cool idea and then not do it. That doesn't help. Okay? So actually put this stuff to action. Like we said, try it for 14 days in a row, 2 weeks, and see if you're consistent with that, if it'll help you build a more positive mindset. So that way, you can make a more successful life in the long run. So things will not change if you don't change. So start with morning mantras. Change your viewpoint for the day. And you'll be amazed at what that changes throughout your day. And then from day to day, what that can change throughout your life. Okay? Cool. So like I said, if you need any help putting this into practice, shoot us an email. And this stuff does make a difference. I use it every day. And I know a lot of really intelligent, smart people who do as well. So join the crowd. So if you like this information, you can find more from us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, Brutal Iron Gym. Also, if you like the podcast, please share it with family and friends. Please, please, please. The more people we help, the happier the world will be. And if you have any questions, feedback, or suggestions, we'd love to hear from you. This podcast is for you, so we know what you want to learn about. And you can tell us at our email, brutalironjim@gmail.com. As always, I hope this was helpful, and thank you for listening.